This story is about Ruthie Mae McCoy, a woman caught between hope and horror. Living in a dangerous Chicago high-rise, Ruthie believed her life was finally about to change when she received long-awaited financial help and dreamed of reuniting with her grandchildren. But unseen dangers lurked closer than anyone imagined, hidden not only in her building, but inside its walls. What followed became one of the most disturbing true crime cases in American history, and later inspired a legendary horror film. Ruthie Mae McCoy was a 52-year-old woman living on the 11th floor of a violent Chicago apartment complex where crime was routine and safety was uncertain. One day, she wandered the hallway, trying door handles, desperate to escape the place she felt trapped in. Like many residents, Ruthie dreamed of leaving, but money had always stood in her way. That began to change when Ruthie started attending a psychiatric day program at a local hospital. The staff grew fond of her and helped her apply for disability benefits. When her application was approved, Ruthie learned she would receive an immediate payment and ongoing monthly support. For the first time in years, she saw a future beyond the crumbling walls of her apartment. She could finally move somewhere safe, and most importantly, welcome her grandchildren who had never been allowed to visit due to the building's danger. Buoyed by hope, Ruthie began improving her life in small but meaningful ways. She revisited old art projects, reconnected with her faith, and spent hours watching passionate televangelists. Moved by their sermons, she wrote letters asking for blessings and miracles. Some responded, not with faith, but with manipulation, requesting money in exchange for promised miracles. Despite needing every dollar to move out, Ruthie sent them portions of her disability payments. Packages soon arrived: blessed objects, holy water, symbolic items meant to heal her. Ruthie believed deeply. She covered her apartment walls with newspaper stories of miraculous transformations, convinced her own miracle would reveal itself physically. She often stared into her bathroom mirror, searching for change. As weeks passed with no visible miracle, something else began to happen. Ruthie started hearing faint whispers when standing in her bathroom. She couldn't make out the words, but the voices felt real and threatening. Though she hoped they were signs of divine intervention, her natural paranoia crept in. She confided in a friend, saying she believed someone was coming for her. Her friend, familiar with Ruthie's history, wasn't alarmed. On the evening of April 22, 1987, Ruthie called 911 in a panic. She rambled about cabinets, her bathroom, and neighbors trying to use it. The dispatcher couldn't understand her, but promised to send police. Minutes later, another resident reported loud noises from Ruthie's apartment. Officers arrived, knocked, and even called her phone. But when there was no answer and neighbors reported nothing, they left.
Ruthie was alone.
Ruthie's silence worried a friend on her floor. After police once again knocked and left without entering, the friend contacted building maintenance. A janitor drilled through Ruthie's lock and stepped inside. The apartment felt wrong, cluttered with religious materials, yet oddly empty, as if a move had begun but never finished. When he reached the bedroom, he found Ruthie McCoy dead on the floor. Police initially treated the case as routine. The building averaged nearly one murder per week. They assumed Ruthie had opened her door to the wrong person. A 19-year-old resident, Edward Turner, was arrested after being found with her TV, though police suspected at least one accomplice. Weeks later, investigators began hearing a disturbing rumor repeatedly mentioned by residents, one they initially dismissed as impossible. But the consistency of the accounts forced them to listen. On the night Ruthie called 911, she hadn't imagined danger. She had heard loud banging from her bathroom. Suddenly, the door flew open and a tall, dark figure ran through her apartment and out into the hallway. Confused and terrified, Ruthie questioned her own perception. Was it real or a hallucination? While waiting for police, she returned to the bathroom. Her mirror, the one she stared into daily, was gone. In its place was a hole in the wall. From that hole, hands emerged. A man pulled himself out of the wall, stood up, and faced her. Chaos followed. Ruthie screamed. The first intruder returned. The men ordered her to the ground and began stealing her belongings. Ruthie was still alive when police knocked on her door, unable to move or cry out. After officers left, she died. The rumor turned out to be horrifyingly true. Residents had discovered they could remove bathroom mirrors and crawl through the walls, traveling unseen between apartments. Criminals used the walls as hidden corridors to spy, steal, and kill. The whispers Ruthie heard weren't hallucinations. They were footsteps. Though 2 men were arrested, both were acquitted. Too many people used the walls. There was no way to prove who murdered Ruthie. Her case remains unsolved. Her death later inspired the horror film Candyman, but the real story was far more terrifying. This story is not just a tale of violence. It is a warning about what happens when society stops listening. Ruthie asked for help. She called 911. She tried to explain her fear the only way she could. But because she was poor, mentally ill, and lived in a building already written off as dangerous, her cries were treated as noise instead of urgency. The real tragedy isn't only how she died, but how easily she was abandoned while she was still alive. This case forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Danger doesn't always look rational, and fear doesn't always sound coherent. When we dismiss people because their words are confusing, we risk ignoring real threats hiding in plain sight. Ruthie believed in miracles, but what she truly needed was compassion, patience, and protection. Her life reminds us that empathy can be the difference between survival and silence, and that sometimes the most horrifying monsters are systems that fail the vulnerable.
Narrativia, where words meet wonders.
Like, share, and follow for more.
Please be advised, all visual content in this video is a creative interpretation generated by artificial intelligence. The accompanying information is an AI-synthesized narrative compiled from widely known and documented historical facts. This video is intended for entertainment and introductory educational purposes. We strongly encourage viewers to enjoy this presentation and then indulge in their own personal research from reputable sources. Thank you.